What's up, Banter fam? Welcome back to the show. Today, we are going to be talking about whether it's time to buy the dip. We've had a lot of altcoins correcting over the last day after one of the biggest liquidation cascades we've had over the last 3 months. Altcoins are starting to look much better from a price proposition if you were interested in buying. So today, we're going to be talking about whether that is the reasonable thing to do. And if so, what altcoins? I've actually got 5 in today's show that I'll be showing you could bounce the hardest, because of course, if you're going to buy alts, you want to be in the ones that are going to bounce the hardest. You don't want to be in the weak coins, you want to be in the strong coins. And there's a few coins I want to talk about today that we weren't getting many good entries on, but now after this dip, we're starting to get better entries on. So I want to discuss that. The other thing I want to say is that essentially we've been pretty spot on in terms of our analysis on this show. I did say yesterday that I wasn't buying because I was expecting a pullback to the 28.4 to 28.5 zone. It looks like that's exactly what we're getting. So the plan for me really has not changed. I was expecting a pullback below this level. I outlined 2 days ago on the show that I thought we'd get deviation below into this range, because oftentimes what happens when you go test a range, you deviate below, capture liquidity in the main zone that previously acted as resistance, which was this area here at the 28 to the 28.5 zone, before you can come up and test again. So for me, nothing's really changed on Bitcoin. The logic I outlined at the start of the week remains the same. I think we go a little bit lower into this zone, and if we don't, and we do end up reclaiming the 29.4 region and then come back higher. Why isn't my drawing tool working? Doesn't matter, I'll just reload it. If we do end up reclaiming and come a little bit higher, that's not the end of the world, because then you get a confirmation buy on the retest. But I still do think we are going to come back down into the zone that I had outlined. So that is what I'm seeing on Bitcoin. In terms of what happened yesterday, why the market crashed, I think there were a few outside variables which impacted the market. I'll name off a few before I get into the main one. Number one, you did have a sell-off in the Chinese stock market ahead of Chinese earnings. Obviously, the Chinese stimulus / liquidity injection was one of the major reasons why the market started running about 2 months ago. Then secondly, you have earnings starting to come out. We saw relatively weak data from Netflix, or some weak data from a variety of companies, and I think there is a slight chance that the market was de-risking ahead of some key earnings dates. And then thirdly, obviously, the biggest factor was just that the market was getting too overheated. There was too much leverage. We can see the leverage ratio really started to build up, and that resulted in what was one of the bigger liquidation cascades of the year, with $292 million worth of liquidations happening within a 24-hour period. And even over the last hour, we've seen even more people get wrecked. Obviously, a lot of late longs and even some late shorts that started to pile up, which resulted in open interest actually evening back out to its pre-dump level, because there was a lot of late shorters starting to enter the market as well. So we weaked both ways. We bounced, come back up, wiped out the late shorts, then came back down again. Anyone that was longing that bounce ended up getting wrecked as well. So it's been a bit of a brutal day to leverage trade. So I hope you guys weren't in crazy leverage trading positions. I certainly wasn't. You guys know my strategy right now. It's more looking for low leverage / spot buys, waiting for more significant pullbacks on alts, and then pairing those altcoins with the Bitcoin pair to get into alts that have the most relative strength with clear invalidation. That's the way I'm currently trading at the moment, and I'll outline my plan towards the end of the show when we go through these 5 altcoins. So it was a big day of liquidations in the market. Actually, 200 hours of BTC price action was wiped out in 13 minutes. So it's funny how crypto does this. You can spend weeks and weeks and weeks grinding up, or days grinding up, and then all that price action could just be wiped out in a matter of minutes. But I guess that's kind of why we love crypto in a way, because the volatility creates opportunities. Kyle noted that there was actually more longs liquidated on ETH than BTC. So because Ethereum started to see a little bit of rotation from Bitcoin into ETH and alts, Ethereum started to gain steam in terms of the amount of longs being opened on ETH. So that meant when the market pulled back, Ethereum got liquidated more heavily than Bitcoin. Andrew Kang did a good tweet, I think. He said, market doesn't go up in a straight line. Would be best to break free of the shackles of underwater leverage longs before sprinting towards next highs. Now, look, he's flipped his bias multiple times. Andrew has been bullish and bearish, bullish and bearish. Now he's, seemingly bullish. But I do agree with the underlying logic here, which is to go higher, you do need these leverage wipeouts. at times the market gets overheated, and when the market gets overheated, you do need pullbacks, healthy corrections in order to resume an uptrend. Because look, we still are in an uptrend until proven wrong. This is still like a general macro uptrend for Bitcoin. No matter what time frame you look at, it is basically an uptrend, unless you go onto like even the yearly chart is looking decent for Bitcoin, right? Heading towards the key level of the yearly open at 29. So yeah, we have broken down, but still making higher lows, still a general uptrend for Bitcoin. Theoretically, you could come down and test range highs, and this would maintain structure on the weekly chart. So for the weekly chart, you can come down into this pocket here in the 24.5 zone, and that would still be an uptrend. That would actually be probably your last big buy zone, because technically you are making higher lows still on the weekly. But if you start breaking below that, then it looks like bear market rally confirmed, end of the run confirmed. But for now, we just trade our levels. The beauty of Bitcoin right now is we've got clear invalidation. Even on the ETH BTC chart, we know that in terms of Bitcoin dominance, we have invalidation above 48.5% on Bitcoin. So if we start breaking above, then we know that we can start looking at cutting alts, because Bitcoin's going to go on a run, right? So right now, it's actually a decent market structure to be able to position yourself in, because we have some key levels that we have. And it's annoying because every time I open up a TradingView tab, it's going to start popping up this upgrade your plan notice. They actually gave me a free plan, and then it expired for some reason, so now they're trying to make me pay. Thanks, TradingView. I will have to update that plan after, and you guys will just have to put up with this pop-up every time I switch tabs, but that's all right. So that's basically what's happened on Bitcoin. We see the funding rates starting to reset. The funding rates were extremely negative before. That was an indicator that a lot of longs were starting to pile up, open interest on the long side. How did Ethereum respond? Well, Ethereum dropped from 21.3, making its local high, back down, tucking below the range at 2K. It looks like Ethereum does want to come test this 1850 to 1900 region. This would be the next logical reason to bounce. Area to bounce. I mean, there's kind of two scenarios here. You either get the bounce. It's because I've exceeded my plan. That's why I can't even draw shit anymore. Great. So I can't draw, but I'll just highlight it for you, and then I'll upgrade it after the show. Once again, thank you, TradingView. So I think the first bounce level is the 1850 level, this zone here. And then next, and I'll see if I can just draw rectangles. Am I allowed to draw them? Not even allowed to draw them. Great. So then your next zone is a reclamation of the 2K area. So we can come back up, reclaim the 2K area, then resumption to the upside. That's your short-term bullish scenario. The scenario that I think is more likely is we have a pullback into the 1850 to the 1900 zone. We might not get a clean bounce. Crypto never gives you a clean bounce on levels. It will either deviate below or just fall short, and orders get front run. But this general zone, if I could draw a rectangle, I would. In here, in this pocket, could be your zone for Ethereum. Because when we look at ETH BTC, there's still a little bit of a pullback to go. We have just broken below the ETH BTC previous high. What I wanted to see was us holding that level. We may come back in and close on the daily. The daily hasn't closed yet, so we still have a chance to close back in above. But once this candle closes, that will give us indication of direction. So the last chance right now for ETH BTC is a daily close above. If not, I think you can expect us to come back down to the 6.5 level, which is not a huge correction. It's only a 3% ETH BTC swing, which happens all the time. So that would be your level for ETH BTC structurally. And as I said, Bitcoin dominance is our clear validation/invalidation for alts. Actually, on the weekly, dominance looks really good. We had this massive wick. Typically, this is bearish from a dominance perspective. When you have a huge wick up into resistance, it's instantly sold off, and then you see kind of like a rounded top formation starting to form. So this can kind of pull back into this range, the 48.13% region. I actually said 2 days ago as well, I was expecting dominance to push up a little bit, and it looks like exactly that's happening, which is not actually bad for alts, because sometimes you need things to reset to get those second entries. If dominance just went all the way back down instantly, a lot of people would be sidelined, and that would lead to a lot more aggressive rally, and aggressive rallies lead to aggressive dumps, and people get wrecked. So this isn't bad that we're pulling back up and giving us a second chance here. So now we've kind of gone over the market. I want to contextualize this in the 5 altcoins that I'm looking at. So give you my levels without my red lines, unfortunately today, TradingView. But I'll give you my I'll give you my levels for the alts I'm looking at. There's 5 altcoins that I think have relative strength, and I'll give you my trading plan for how I identify alts with relative strength. Before we get into those 5 altcoins, I want to announce a huge trading comp that we're just launching with Bybit. So basically what we're doing over the next month or 41 days is running a trading competition where the first prize wins a Tesla or $40,000, your choice. The second prize wins a Rolex or $20,000, so you can win the cash or the Rolex. And then the third prize wins $10,000 cash. We're doing this in partnership with Gareth Soloway, so his community can also get involved. And it's a huge trading comp on Bybit. So the prize pool is currently 50,000 split between 145 participants. So, that includes the Tesla, the Rolex, and the third prize as well. And if you want to participate, it's simple. You deposit $250 into your account, shift $250 to derivatives, and trade. I mean, obviously it's P&L based, right? So minimum is $250, and the better your percentage trading is, obviously you're going to rank higher, and the higher you rank, if you get top 3, you win a bigger prize. But there's also other prizes as well for the top 10. So we can see number 1 gets the Tesla, number 2 gets the Rolex, number 3 gets the 10,000, and then the rest still get decent prices. It's actually 4,200 for the remaining people from 4 to 10. So terms and conditions in the description. To sign up if you're interested in participating, if you don't have a Bybit account, you can sign up for one using the link in the description. You want to use this second link here, which is this DeFi master link. If you sign up to that link, then you can go onto the first link and register for the comp. So pretty simple. Sign up using the second link. Once you have a Bybit account, a Banter Bybit account, if you have another one, it won't be eligible for the comp. Once you sign up, then you can go to the register, which is the first link, and qualify for the comp. So I'll be trading on this as well on the shows, but I just wanted to give you a head start before this kicks off so you're prepared. And yeah, I'm sure we'll talk a lot about that in the future. What I want to do now, before the 5 alts, is actually do the giveaway for OKX. So you guys know OKX also has a giveaway running at the moment. It's my job to give you the 2 Manchester City FC tickets right now. So if you have opened at least $1 worth of trades on OKX, make sure you watch this next minute, because I might flash your UID, which is going to win your prize. So just let me get this up real quick on my screen. Here we go. So, and I should probably just get rid of something. Just get rid of the trading volume on all the UIDs. Delete, it reset for some reason. Okay, so if you've signed up to OKX and you've been trading on it, over the past 2 weeks, we have run We've been running a competition. So a raffle system that if you trade, you win raffle tickets. Now, on my screen right now are UID numbers. If you've traded on OKX, there's a chance that your UID number is on this list. If it is on this list, and the way to check whether it is you go into your account, you on the phone or the computer, you go to my account and you look at your UID number. If you can match up your user ID, and you're going to need to be fast right now, so make sure you pay attention. If you can line up your user ID with a number here, and I'm going to scroll through right now, then message giveaways@cryptobanter.com. The email's in the description. Giveaways@cryptobanter.com. A screenshot of your UID on the OKX platform to the giveaways email, and we will verify that with the exchange that it's actually you, and you will win the prize. It's first come, first serve for the $5,000 or the 2 Man City tickets. Give your preference, send the UID. And yeah, I'm scrolling through right now, so you'll need to pause the video. If you can match up your UID on this right now, then yeah, first come, first serve. The first one to claim it and verify will be the winner. So you see here, user ID is on the left, UID is on the right. I'll go through it one more time and then we'll move on with the show. If you have opened $1 worth of trades on OKX, there's a chance your user ID is on this list. I'll scroll through once again, and you can pause the video whenever you want and try and match up your UID. If it's here, the first one wins. So it might distract from my show a little bit. You might actually need to look if your UID is here and then watch the rest of the show later, because yeah, you potentially could win. And obviously, if the quicker you are, the more, yeah, well, you need to be quick if you've traded. So they're the links. You can look at it. You can pause the video, look at it, and I'll get on with the show now. But that is for the OKX guys. So I hope one of you won it. Someone says cap. No, it is legit. We actually are giving away the prize. And yeah, let me get back to my other screen. So, all right, let's get on with it. OKX comp. That is the Man City tickets. I assume one of you is going to claim it within probably the next 10 minutes. And then the holiday to the Maldives is the next prize. So that actually starts today. So if you miss out on the city tickets, it's okay. For the next 2 weeks, you can win an even bigger prize, which is $7,500 by trading on the exchange. $1 minimum to enter. More you trade, better chance. And yeah, that's the competition. Link in the description to OKX. So 2 huge giveaways at the moment. I don't know any other channel that's doing this. It's absolutely insane. Massive OKX giveaway of a Tesla. Now we got the Bybit trading comp with the Tesla. This is as well. So we're absolutely, yeah, you guys are swimming in giveaways. So I think there'll be quite a few happy winners over the next few weeks. Seriously, name another channel that's giving away $100,000 worth of prizes over the next month. I personally, I don't know. I can't think of one. So pretty insane. Pretty insane. So links in the description to that. Let's get on with the show though. Enough exchange talk. A lot of people asking me about PEPE. Clearly PEPE has been a huge talking point. I will talk about PEPE at the end. You can't really do price action on PEPE because it's just like a meme, but it's pretty crazy. This is now at an 86 mil market cap. It has pulled back, but still too high for me. I remember I found it at 20 mil, so it's been a 4x since then. I didn't buy, full disclosure. I wasn't an aper of PEPE. I probably should have when I found it because I was early, but I faded the meme. I know people that put in personally like $1,000 and made 50 grand. So I was feeling the FOMO when I had a few friends message me and be like, hey bro, I just made 50 grand off PEPE. I was like, fuck, why didn't I make 50 grand off PEPE? And I also know a guy that put in, well, I don't know him, but I saw it on Twitter. A guy put in $250 and he had 1.14 million at 1.5. So he probably has over 1.5 million now. Look on chain verified the address. So it's pretty crazy. Crypto is making millionaires at the moment through these meme coins. What the whole meme coin rally signaled to me, it's funny because it actually ended up signaling a market correction, which just, shows people getting a bit too excited. But what it does signal is a huge shift on to risk on appetite. We haven't really seen a situation over the last few months, probably since last August, where the market was this willing to open speculative altcoin positions, especially to the long side. Most people speculating were shorters, especially to the long side. So we haven't seen retail be this involved since last August. So it's been over 6 months or actually more now, probably, like 8 months. So I think it really highlights the market's willing to go more risk on, which, I mean, that's just a reflection of how much we've rallied over the past couple months. So PEPE has been one of them. I'll talk about this a little bit later because I have more serious alts to talk about first. So which alts do you get into? Let's say, we do get a Bitcoin dip. We continue dipping. Either that scenario, which is like the 28.3 to 28.8 level is like, I'm interested in DCAing at those levels with invalidation below and on the Bitcoin chart. But if you're going to trade alts based on the Bitcoin chart, then you have to identify which ones are holding up the best versus Bitcoin because they will bounce the most. So if Bitcoin dips, you don't just want to be getting into any random alt. You want to be getting into the alts that are showing the most strength because you best believe when the market resumes to the upside, those alts will perform the best. So you want to pair your entries, obviously, with Bitcoin and ETH because they're the market leaders, but then you also want to look at the USD pairs in confluence with the Bitcoin pairs. So that's what we'll be doing today. The first one, I think, is on my list. And I'm not saying I'm buying right now. I'm just, I'm watching these for when we do get those entries. The first one that's on my list is AVAX because their daily active user increase has been actually quite impressive. It was kind of like one of these L1s which has lost a bit of momentum, but I'm seeing a lot of things behind the scenes. Active address rocketing, TVL rocketing, also conference upcoming. Typically when a token has an upcoming conference, that bodes quite well for price action in the meantime. So if we get a bounce soon, then we could see a bit of conference hype pre-conference. Usually buy the rumor, sell the news, these conferences, but who knows, we could actually get big news from the conference. So this is one thing I'm watching. In terms of the AVAX chart, And if I'm still live right now, my screen's getting all glitchy. I am live. In terms of the AVAX chart, and TradingView is really annoying me today. Thanks, TradingView, once again for the 10th time. We can see here that we're at a pretty interesting level. So we've broken above this diagonal area. And I'm not the biggest fan of trading diagonals in terms of like, oh, we break out of a diagonal, let me long. I don't really trade like that. I'm not Sheldon. I more so trade in the sense that I will use diagonals as an indicator of momentum. So for me, we broke out of trend, so that showed bullish momentum. So it's a momentum indicator, not a buy indicator all the time. And I will pair that momentum with key horizontal levels. That's kind of how I trade, and moving averages. So your system will be different to mine, but I am seeing a decent pullback for AVAX. And I think this zone here, this 16.4 to 17 zone, could be a decent entry area, especially if we go like a few percent further down on ETH BTC. This could be a decent area. We have had higher lows. So we see the low here, then the higher low. This would still be a higher low for AVAX. The other thing is we have a bounce off this zone, which is the top of this diagonal. That will be our next zone for AVAX. AVAX is showing not relative, I wouldn't say it's showing like crazy relative strength, but prior to the dip, it was one of the stronger performers. And on its Bitcoin pair, because remember, we're looking at the Bitcoin pairs here, we did have a decent wick, so it is holding. If AVAX drops in terms of its USD pair and holds this Bitcoin levels simultaneously, which may not happen, but it could, then that would be a very strong sign to me that AVAX can be a strong bouncer. Back up to the 7.4 region on its Bitcoin pair. I would call this range low, this entire region, and then I would say this is deviation below. So that's what I'm watching on AVAX. It's definitely on my watch list. The next one that's on my watch list is Trader Joe. It's in the AVAX ecosystem, but I think they're going bigger than that. Their new product, I don't know if you know about it, but it's a trading product. It's an AMM-based kind of order book fusion product. It's really good. It's really capital efficient. And Joe's been extremely impressive because their token price had plummeted after the AVAX rush incentives. So theoretically, you'd think, oh, Joe's now a shitcoin, but they've built really hard. They've put a lot of attention into building a better product and continuously shipping amazing upgrades. I actually had a chance to speak to the team 6 months ago, and they were super passionate about what they were building. And lo and behold, 4 months later, they launched one of the best products we've seen. It's actually one of the most efficient DEXs on the market. And for that reason, trading volume on Joe has exploded. Market cap has exploded because the token's repriced to line up with the metrics. And yet TVL's exploded. We see 59 mil TVL because the pools were super lucrative. And yeah, there's awesome yield on Joe in general for like Arbitrum and all sorts of stuff. So Joe for me is a coin I wanted an entry on. I do have a small position, full disclosure, but it wasn't as big as I'd wanted relative to the rest of my portfolio. Percentage-wise, I wanted a little bit more in my Joe bags, at least in short to medium term. So where can I add to those bags? We've kind of got two zones. The shorter term zone is the 5-6 zone. Remember, this is a coin that's super strong, so you don't get crazy dips on coins like these. And look at this, guys. So I mentioned to you earlier, I said, remember when I said at the start, look for the alt pairs that identify that have relative strength, because these will bounce the hardest. Well, look at Joe. Look at this. All right, it's USD pairs down, sure, but its Bitcoin pair, despite dipping in price, has not moved. So it's literally not lost steam against Bitcoin. So Bitcoin's dumped, but Joe hasn't dumped. What does this show to me? It shows to me that if we do get a market bounce, this will be one of the strongest performers because it is so resilient that it will not dip versus Bitcoin. So you're looking for coins like this when you trade. That's on the weekly. On the daily, it probably has a dip. It has had a dip, a tiny dip though. And I'm looking at the higher time frames here. So it's barely moved versus Bitcoin. So I think Joe is a great candidate to be a strong bouncer if the market comes back alongside AVAX. Strong narrative. The next one's Arbitrum, actually. So Arbitrum on Upbit has been one of the most traded coins. It was 22% of the total Upbit volume a couple of days ago. It's now 13.5%. Arbitrum is a big candidate to be a strong bouncer. We can see that it broke below the top of its range here. And I think we go even lower on Arbitrum. I would be eyeing this zone in here. I can't draw the rectangle for you, but it's between 140 to 144. This zone here, because I don't know if we get right back down. If we do, I think this is a good place to buy because you've got, you could set your stop below. Even if you're trading spot, you can set your stops below and target the lower end of the range. But I think this is a decent zone to buy. I think there'll be a lot of front runs. So anything in this general region above this mid-range support would be a level that I would stock up at, looking to target the range high for a TP, and then all-time highs as your second TP, and maybe you can keep a move back for price discovery. I do have spot ARB in my portfolio. I'm still holding my airdrop allocation. That doesn't change, but I will add to my position if we go a little bit lower here on ARB, and I'll look to take profits on that position, as my additional position will be flexible. I'm willing to sell and trade it, and my original position, that is more of a medium to long-term hold, I might sell it. I'll let you guys know if I do, but I haven't decided to at that point. So ARB is the third coin. The other two were AVAX and Joe that I'm looking at, and I'll answer any specific altcoins later in the show. The third one I'm looking at is not really one coin, but it's a few, and that's the perp dexes. So the KYC for the centralized exchanges is kicking off. Look, for me personally, it doesn't impact how I trade. I'm fine KYCing, but I know there's a lot of traders out there that aren't fine KYCing, and they will want to find a new home. And the logical place to find a new home on, I think Apex is one, by the way, because they're Bybit affiliated, and people feel comfortable with that kind of UI. But I think the other place a lot of people are going to trade on is perp dexes. They're still some of the most easiest, quickest, most efficient dexes to trade on. Not in terms of fees if you're a small trader, but more so in terms of like ability to spin up new pairs, speed to execute trades. The UI in general is still better than a lot of order book products, although I think the gap is closing. I think at least in the short to medium term, perp dexes are where volume is going to rotate to. So GNS is one. They are a show sponsor, Gains Network. I like their product. GMX is another. GMX is obviously the biggest perp dex. Then you've got a few others, but one I wanted to mention today that has some pretty strong catalyst behind it is KyberSwap. So I'm a bit annoyed because I didn't get my full entry on KyberSwap. I talked about this yesterday. I actually gave you KyberSwap at $500 on the Sunday streams a couple of weeks ago. So we had ample time to get in. You guys probably got in before me. And if you did, you're sitting pretty. If you didn't, I'm waiting for a pullback now. But KyberSwap is one that I'm looking at that could bounce the hardest. It's extremely resilient in terms of price. Remember what I said. I'm looking for coins that are showing resilience. This is, you can't really do PA on this. I've drawn in levels. I've drawn in TA levels to be more of a visual guide, but I wouldn't respect these levels, to be honest. I would respect Bitcoin's levels. I respect these levels because a lot of people use TA on Bitcoin. I don't respect KyberSwap's levels. It's more visual. I'm just letting you know. But these are general zones where I'm interested in DCAing. 600 to 630, 500 to 540, and anything under 400. This is a medium to long-term hold. When I say medium to long, I don't mean 3 years. I mean a few months to 6 months, in that range. So maybe short to medium term hold for me. I won't hodl this to death for the next 5 years, but I'll look to take profits, of course. But I think it can be a strong performer. We may miss these entries, so if we don't get this big pullback, it's fine. I think a break of range high and a retest on the daily, and I will literally just buy the highs. If we get a strong retest, because the breakout could send it to 1400, 1500. Remember, guys, once a coin's in price discovery, it can go any sort of high. So that's on centralized exchanges, and a lot of people will trade based on that. I do think it had DEX listings prior, though, so we'll look at the previous levels. May not be true price discovery. It might just be like centralized. No, it actually is. No, it actually will be. Yeah, it will be, because it didn't launch. It launched last year. It's synthetics powered perp dex. So yeah, this was the zone I talked about it at. I think I may have got a small entry. I can't remember, but if I can't remember, then I didn't get anything significant. So I'm waiting for a bigger pullback. Only buy pullbacks, not aping into highs on KyberSwap. A few catalysts here. The volume growth amongst KyberSwap has been ridiculous. It took up 24% of the total market share for trading volume yesterday, which is nuts. One of the reasons for this is because OP rewards are coming. So what that means is there's now incentives for trading on KyberSwap, and KyberSwap token utility is turning on a fee switch, which means Rev is going back to stakers. So it's looking good from a fundamental perspective. I'm not going to lie with you. And yeah, we spotted this a while ago. But it's things that is looking better and better and better as time goes on. But yeah, you got to buy pullbacks. That's the problem. I refuse to APR. I refuse to FOMO in. But KyberSwap is definitely one on my list, guys. $1,000 target on that. Anyway, let's hope we get an entry before it runs away from us completely. The next one is Doge. So this is the it's actually 420s tomorrow. Today, if you're in, some tokens keep resistance because they have no liquidity. Yeah, fair point. I think KyberSwap has a fair amount of liquidity. Yeah, it's got a very big diluted, and it's also got listings on BitGet, Mexi. I doubt BitGet would list if liquidity was an issue, but yeah, I agree with you in general. Pretty low volume though, but I don't know if these stats are accurate. Nonetheless, yeah, TA on that's not really the best. I would kind of just DCA and hold it short to medium term, but get good entries. Don't FOMO into pumps, buy dumps. Always buy dumps. The only exception to me buying a pump on KyberSwap would be like a clear break in price discovery. Then I'll look to long. So Doge is the next one. I think Doge is actually still decent. The logic I'm following is basically 𝗕𝗓𝗕𝗏𝗏. He summed it up better than I can, I think. But basically, risk reward is skewed due to the fact the market showed the lows, showed its hand during the huge sell-off last year. Elon been pumping it a lot. Meme coin season kind of back. Fully retraced the logo change, which is now almost the case. It has held this. And in terms of price action, it has held really well. It's held above my orange box on the daily. So this dip got gobbled up. Even on the 4 hourly, it held above. Like, that is bullish. It's a bullish swing from Doge. And I'm still in a long, by the way. And I'm still long spot. So I'm actually in this. If you want to enter, long term, medium to long term, you definitely want to target. And when I say long term, I don't actually mean 2 years. I literally mean like 6 months. So that's long term to me at the moment. Because the market's crazy. This macro situation makes it very hard to hodl any altcoins long term. Maybe you can make an exception for Doge, but if you are holding for years, then you need to be willing to buy at lows again at 5 cents and 6 cents and not puke. Basically, if you're gonna puke at those levels, then you probably shouldn't have a long-term time horizon on a token like this. But for Doge, it's held above the diagonal trend here. We can see on the daily, it's held above its orange line, which is a key resistance. It's looking a key support now. It was resistance. So it looks good. On the Doge BTC chart, it actually looks good. So look at this very clean bounce on the daily chart of a pretty key support level for Doge BTC. We can see this historically. So this was really good price action from Doge. And remember, keep remembering what I said before. You're looking for the coins with strength. That's why I'm not talking about things like, I don't know, I could list a million coins. That's why I'm not talking about, let me just go through my list here. That's why I'm not talking about CKB or Blur, or even AVAX is down quite a lot, but AVAX BTC looks a bit better. So I like this wick on support. That looks strong, but the caveat is it needs to hold. GMX actually had a pullback. I'm looking for things with relative strength, basically, is what I'm trying to say. So there's a lot of coins I'm not talking about in this video because, like Rune, because it doesn't apply, or even Phantom. Phantom, though, has generally shown strength, but we want to look at the BTC pairs. So let's get up Phantom BTC. Yeah, see, this is breaking below. That's not relative strength to me. So that's why I'm not talking about it in today's video. I'm talking about things like Doge, which are showing strength. Yes, we saw a sell-off on the Bitcoin chart, but it's held support quite nicely. So that's why Doge is on today's list. The next one's Injective. Injective, oh my God. If we get a dip on this, please. I'm a buyer under 7. I'm a buyer under 7. I'd love to get closer to 5.9, but we need to retrace this hype pump. I'm sorry, I'm not buying into this pump. Even the Injective Bitcoin chart is just crazy. I would look for a retest of on the BTC chart 16 to 17, this zone here, or a retest of 5.9 to 6.1 on the USD chart. But yeah, under $7, I start being interested. Rand thinks this is going to 20. I mean, eventually, yeah, probably, but I refuse to buy into a pump. So yeah, that's my thoughts on Injective. And then PEPE is the last one. and then I'll answer questions, which obviously you want to know whether you should buy PEPE. I can't answer that question because this is a gamble. This is like going to the casino and putting money on the roulette table. And at 100 mil market cap, how much more can this thing really run? Do you think it's the next Doge or SHIB? And you think there's a 10x left? I don't know. I'm not convinced. If we get a huge pullback, let's say 15 to 17, this level, okay, I'll probably become a buyer. This probably isn't enough for me to be like, oh my God, this is the buy the dip situation I'm looking for. 27%, I don't know, not for me, guys. But if you're a real meme coin trader, as we discussed yesterday, look, there's profits there for you if you're a crazy meme coin trader. Injectives like ENJ. I mean, so we have to split fundamentals and pumpermentals here. Fundamentally, Injective is one of the best projects in crypto. Why? Because it is going to be the liquidity hub of Cosmos. I think Injective and Osmosis, strong candidates for the liquidity hub of Cosmos. So for that reason, if you want exposure to Cosmos, considering the Atom token has terrible value accrual, INJ becomes like your decent proxy bet. Kind of why I think it's a decent play. But then again, it's pumped. So like, if you thought fundamentally it was strong, nothing's changed between January and now. It was strong at $1, the fundamentals. The fundamentals were also strong at 2. They were also strong at 5. So as 𝗕𝗏𝗕𝗄 says, there's no such thing as a bad product. There's only such thing as a bad price. And that's not the exact quote. Let me get the exact quote. No such thing, 𝗕𝗏𝗕𝗏𝗧. Let me get the exact quote. Bad product. Give me the quote. Give me the quote. I want to get the quote. It's a great quote. Yeah, this is the summary. That's not the quote. That's really not the quote. I'm just like searching keywords on Google. I'm sure you guys do that as well when you Google shit. You just put in keywords and hope something comes up. It's not what you buy, it's what you pay. Success in investing doesn't come from buying good things, but from buying things well. If you don't know the difference, you're in the wrong business. So why am I saying this? Well, it's kind of like INJ, right? INJ is a great product, but success in investing doesn't come from buying great products or good things. It comes from buying things well. You can buy a shit product at a good price and you'll make money. You can buy a good product at a bad price and you'll lose money. So that's why something like INJ, you can't really sit here and say, oh, it's going to be the liquidity hub of Cosmos, so I'm going to buy it because it's pumped. So this can be the best product in the world, but if it's at the wrong price, it's not a buy. Let's look at its FDV. FDV 824 mil. Pretty reasonable. I can see this as a multi-billion-dollar project one day. So I don't think it's necessarily a bad price. But in the short term, from a price action perspective, I would consider it to be a bad buy. So it's not making up quotes. It's mentally forgetting the exact quote and then wanting to find the exact quote. And I found the exact quote. So sometimes you just need to do a bit of Googling and you'll get the quote. Who's behind PEPE? I don't know. But yeah. PEPE is 130x away from Doge. It's also a 70x away from SHIB. Yeah, it's not Doge though, for many reasons. But yeah, I don't know. PEPE 37k Twitter followers. Yeah, look, if PEPE gets a big pullback, I'm interested for the memes, for the culture. But I'm not willing to speculate here, and that's just me. Although we are getting a pullback, this was a big wick though. You know, you would love to see that level again if you're a buyer. At this level, I'm a buyer. All right, let's see if we get back down. But I'm not a huge fan. Looks like your INJ order got hit. Wow, congrats, bro. Congrats. And I had the injective chart like outlined super well on this breakout. Look at this. I had this level for a while. You guys will know if you watch the shows regularly. We had this level for a while and we exploded. I didn't trade this. I don't know why. I was asleep or something happened when it pumped and I wasn't online. And yeah, I missed it. It's fine though. There's other great projects. Squid Grow, I don't know anything about it. Illuvium. Illuvium's good. Hustle likes it, I think. Everyone's talking about PEPE. It's too late. Yeah, probably. I mean, who knows, though? You can never call the top. That's why you can't short it. Someone says INJ won't go down. It'll go 7.5. Maybe. And if it does, I'm happy to miss it. So here's the thing, guys. Here's the really important thing. If you're planning on buying crypto for the next 3 years, don't buy altcoins now. This isn't financial advice. This is just my opinion. It's just my opinion. I wouldn't be buying altcoins now for the next 5 years. Most alts are up significantly off their lows. If you're buying altcoins after this dip, you're buying as a trade. You're buying, even if it's a spot trade, you're buying in the hope that there's a little bit more upside. Bitcoin goes to 32, ETH maybe goes to 2,300, and you make a bit of money on the best alts. That's the play. And maybe there's a mini alt season, you make a 3, 4, 5x. Great. But if I'm not buying Injective, or I don't even want to use Injective as an example. I'm just saying in general, because Injective could go against the market. We don't know. But in general, I'm not buying alts here for a 3-year hold or a 2-year hold. That's not my plan. I'll buy things for a 1-year hold if we get huge sell-offs. I'm talking like massive sell-offs, like lows, blood in the streets, crazy sell-offs. We haven't really seen that yet. Like, this is a big sell-off, and it's maybe a good short-term trade. But we haven't seen like a massive correction, which is what I would wait for to add to my long-term bags. So for me, short and medium-term bags look decent to add to, but I think later in the year, there's more blood. This is just my opinion. I may be wrong, but I just feel like Q3, I don't know, Q2, Q3, I don't know when, at some point, because I can't time the market, at some point, we see a big equities correction, in my opinion, and I may be wrong, but in my opinion, I think we see a big equities correction, and if equities correct massively, although Bitcoin can develop its own narrative, I think alts still get smashed. And if alts get smashed, that's when I'll look at accumulating long-term. So that's not saying we can't rally now. We probably could have a dip, rally further, sure, and we'll trade that. But just note that I'm not looking to go risk on for the next year now, because things have already pumped. You're buying at inflated prices for a long-term hold. It's not the smartest thing. I do DCA Bitcoin and Ethereum always. I do DCA projects that like I like, especially small caps that I just don't think, I don't really care about price. I'll DCA, but I don't apply that to my whole portfolio. I'm still pretty heavy cash, and I'll look for better entries later in the year for long-term holds. I hope that makes sense, because I think bear market is over. There's no proof that this isn't a bear market rally, to be honest with you. There's no proof at all. So, I mean, the S&P still hasn't broken above 4.1. Still hasn't broken. Dollar has come down, which is good, but the dollar looks shocking. NASDAQ, let's have a look at the NASDAQ. NASDAQ has had a huge run. It's had a huge run. And those lows are still, like a 30% drop away? And look, the macro looks not great, in my opinion. There's lots of headwinds. Headwinds can become tailwinds for crypto, but in general, there are a lot of headwinds, right? So things are uncertain enough for me not to ape it. That's all I'm saying. It's like, if we get upside, cool. We'll trade the upside. We'll trade pullbacks and uptrends. Sure. But there's a difference between trading pullbacks and uptrends and buying pullbacks for the next year and then round tripping profits. That's what I'm saying. And there's no right or wrong, right? So there's actually no right or wrong. We're all speculating. Gareth Soloway thinks there's a big crash coming. Geordie Alexander thinks there's a big crash coming. But I also know people that say the opposite. I know like Jason, Ran, Alex Kruger, Ted. A lot of these guys think we could go a lot higher. And this could potentially be a new bull market. So there's two sides. And there's smart people on both sides. Some of the smartest people I know think we're in a new bull market. And some of the smartest people I know think this is a bear market rally. So there's no right or wrong. There actually is no right or wrong because there's no proof. It's all speculation. So it's all about coming up with a plan that makes sense for you. So I maintain long-term exposure to Bitcoin ETH because I know I can't time that. Then I adjust my altcoin exposure based on how I'm feeling in terms of, short to medium term outlook. And I'll make sure to be adaptive and rebalance to make sure I'm in the stronger projects. And if we get huge pullbacks, then I'll look to add to my long-term bags as a general rule, because I know I can't time the bottom. This isn't a huge pullback to add to my altcoin bags. A huge pullback would be ETH to 1500. Like ETH would need to pull back to 1600, maybe I'll add long-term. 1400, maybe I'll add long-term. 1000 again and I'll ape, right? But these are the kind of long-term levels I'll look at. This is like, it's a dip, but it's like a dip for flies if you're looking at adding for the next 2 years. This is maybe a dip that you can add to for the next 2 months, but for the next 2 years, it's a dip for flies, and it's not my rule. My rule is to buy blood on the streets. This isn't blood. This is like someone just sliced their finger open, and got in a paper cut. That's what it is. This isn't bleeding. So, trash advice. Well, luckily it's not advice, it's my opinion. Also, you're a fucking idiot, because some of the smartest people in the world think that there's a big dip coming. So you calling them trash as well? I don't know. I'm just giving you my opinion. And look, there's a lot of people bearish and there's a lot of people bullish. I'd say it's pretty 50-50 and it's okay. You can trade both ways. You don't need to know. You can trade both ways. That's the best thing about crypto. If Bitcoin breaks above 30 and holds above, then that's a very strong sign that the market has a risk appetite to push it to 35, and you can trade that. And if the market starts to break down and you break 28, and you have a bearish retest of 28.4, then you can trade back down to range highs and look to flip long at range highs. It's not rocket science, right? Anyway, that's long-term talk. In the short term, I think we definitely can get a bounce. And since we're still in a structural uptrend, I will still trade long. So for me, here's how I work out whether we're in a structural uptrend. Go on the daily, onto Bitcoin, put on the EMA indicator and look at the 200 indicator. We're still well above. We're still making higher lows. We're still looking structurally good. Nothing's broken structurally for me, because this is still a very key level. So for me, we're in an uptrend. And when you're in an uptrend, you trade more long than you trade short when you're in an uptrend. When you're in a downtrend, then you start to trade more short than you do long. So nothing's changed for me. I'm just outlining my opinion for the later in the year, but that doesn't really matter, because price action is more important than any one person's opinion. Bear bias, bull bias, whatever bias you have, it's not really that important because it's a bias and no one knows. Well, all you can look at is price action. The price will tell you the story. And for now, the price is telling us it wants to be bullish, so we'll buy dips. And when that changes, when the price tells us it's bearish, we'll look to either short or de-risk and look to buy back later. It's pretty simple. Some people like the perspective. Everyone's trading style is different though, right? Everyone's trading style is different. Hong Kong news is good. Hong Kong is very good. I'm seeing huge developments from Asia. That's very good for the market. Tonight, I'm actually I was supposed to do it yesterday, but I'll write it today. Tonight, I'm actually releasing a thread on the regional coins and how I think you can proxy invest through different countries. Like, if you're an exposure to China and you're bullish on China, you can invest in Chinese coins and outperform the stock market. So let's say you think, China's economy is going to beat America over the next 10 years. Then there's ways to tailor crypto exposure to Chinese-based projects or narratives to get a proxy investment in the Chinese economy without having to buy international stocks. Interesting tweet I'm going to do tonight. It also covers Korea, same logic. Japan, same logic. You can apply it to any country really, because every country has an altcoin that it's synonymous with that you can invest in. So I find that really interesting. And some of the biggest gains have been through country regionality investing, like CFX and all the Asian coins, Chinese coins that pumped. One example, now we're getting upbit pumps of Aptos. There was a meme in Korea, one Aptos equals one house. So Aptos was pumping in Korea. If you knew about that, then you could have benefited from the Aptos pump. We actually got in on the show last year in November. There's a video proof. So that was good. And then for Korea as well, you've got now Arbitrum, right? Arbitrum's becoming a bit synonymous with Korea. It's the top traded coin on Upbit. So 𝗕𝗏𝗕𝗄 is one that I'm looking at, if we get a big dip to add to my bags there. So there's regional investing, which I think is pretty good. 𝗕𝗆𝗏𝗃. I think the Discord's raiding the stream. Guys, you're doing a Discord raid on me. I know this game. I know this game. I've been in this game too long to know what you're doing. Well, look, at least you're loyal to the bag chase. At least you're loyal to the culture. I mean, I can't fade it. I'm not a huge altcoin maximalist, but good on you. Do what you want. 𝗏𝗏 Games Crazy Dump. Let's look at 𝗏𝗏. We love you. Thank you. I love you as well. Love you, 𝗕𝗏𝗃𝗃. 𝗏𝗏, yeah, doesn't look good for the primary reason. Look at this. Put in a local high, lower high, lower high, lower high, rejection, and looks like it wants to continue to the downside. So, yeah, this doesn't look good. Let me look at 𝗏𝗏 BTC though. I did say to, always try and find the strong coins when you're longing. This isn't one. Looks horrible. Looks horrible. Looks horrible. So no, I wouldn't long 𝗏𝗏 personally. Remember, all this is just my opinion and not financial advice, but I guess you've come here for my opinion, so that's my opinion. Also, dilution's still kind of shit. It was always one of my gripes with 𝗏𝗏. The tokenomics are just like meh. So 𝗏𝗏 becomes a very good bet if there's a gaming run. Elio actually did an interesting tweet yesterday by saying the first game that launches in crypto will be a huge draw card for other games, because people will realize the power of crypto gaming, and that will be a catalyst for the entire gaming industry. So gaming coins will run even if that game doesn't succeed off the back of another one succeeding. And it's very different from other industries where you see like liquidity on the top and you don't see it filter down to its competitors. In like, monopoly type industries or oligopoly type industries, like, where Google and Bing and search engines and stuff, you don't see the wealth effect. Whereas, or even social medias, you don't really see the wealth effect. Whereas in the crypto gaming space, I think we will see a wealth effect because the first game that launches and succeeds will mean like all the other games get speculated on and people start launching more crypto games, and then the entire industry and your infrastructure plays start doing well. So like something like a 𝗏𝗏 in that environment performs well. The thing is, right now you're kind of trying to catch a falling knife. That's why I'm not in 𝗏𝗏. But the point when the gaming industry switches and we get momentum there, then yeah, it's like very synonymous with crypto. It's one of the biggest studios. It'll be launching lots of projects. It'll probably gain momentum. It'll probably have some hit games at some point, and then it'll perform really well. So look, at maybe one you want to DCA into. It's just not really something I'm DCA into. All right, whenever Fabian tweets, I look because I think he's one of the best accounts. I really, really like his content. He said, hot take, having conviction in your bags is overrated. It applies you're putting some sort of faith in the hands of the project or team when faith should have nothing to do with it. The best investors look at it through the lens of having the right factors and probabilities in place. The only thing they have conviction in is their own due diligence and the ability to adapt their opinion with changing circumstances. This line's so important. I see so many people hodling bags to death. There's nothing wrong with changing your opinion and cutting it for a loss. Nothing wrong with that. Conviction in a project by itself just leads to bag holders. Case in point, I'm pretty sure Cardano holders have had more than enough conviction. I will like that. Someone says contradictory. I don't see that's how that's overrated. I like it. I think it's true. And I like most of his tweets. See if there's anything else. PEPE recovery. Yeah, that was insane. We had that huge dip and then it got absolutely eaten up. I reckon the following tab on Twitter is better. Raheem's went to the match. The buying game, Real won. I'm a Real fan, so it was good. Got the dub over Chelsea. Sorry, all the Chelsea fans, but you guys were terrible. Soldier Boy is a scammer. Just look at updates, see if I can find anything. Soldier Boy is a scammer. Who would have thought? You lost 90% of your money in 2022. You were sidelined all of 2023 until you found PEPE. It's up only 2000x in a couple of days. You go all in. It's time to make it all back in one trade. You have nothing left. You can't even get a job at McDonald's after. It's harder to get a job at McDonald's than it is to get into Harvard. I highly doubt that. I don't know what the fuck this headline is. That's just not true. That's the worst. That's so dumb. Anyone, you can probably get a job at McDonald's as long as you can talk and do what you're told, and you're willing to take shit pay. You'll be able to. Trust me though, learning to trade will be a much more profitable decision for you, and you won't have to work at McDonald's. But I respect the meme. It's funny. I think Wolf of Wall Street did an interesting tweet, but I won't show it. Nothing else really. Nothing else really. Native crypto shilling US. US is good. I like US. Nothing against it. Banks have been tightening it at an unprecedented rate. Recession's only a matter of time. I love charts like this. I mean, it's not much correlation there because we had like a dip and then a correction. It's like that's never happened before. It's never insta corrected. This is like a new environment. This is a new macro paradigm. We've never seen this before. So, yeah, I don't really like that tweet. I think it's pretty confirmation bias-esque, personally. What else? Anything else? Lots of PEPE stuff. PEPE recovery. I'm obviously buying the wrong dips. Yeah. Well, look, PEPE is strong, I guess. So, like, you know, when I talked about identify the strong coins, PEPE would come under that category. Whoa, look at all these buys starting to go in. Holy shit. Fuck this coin, honestly. So sick of this. Nah. Look, I'm a buyer, but I was asleep during this week, and I'm not a buyer at this price. I don't know, man. It's just a meme. I can't. I've got no edge. So with me, I need an edge whenever I trade. I need to know my EV, so I need probabilities. That's how you consistently become a good trader. I can't work out my EV or probabilities on PEPE because I don't have them. I don't know if the risk reward's good. I don't know because there's just nothing. There's no quantitative data to help us. Like, no comparable data, no like historical data, no price action. Like, well, there's price action, but there's no TA that we can like extract from the price action. So it's like, I would say if you really just want to have fun, you can buy it. But I don't know, man. I don't have an edge there for you. I'm sorry. There's no edge. Look, insider allocations, you're mentioning KyberSwap. Clearly, like, that's not good. We don't want insiders holding a lot of coins. Then again, like, if you're trading coins, insiders owned a lot of AVAX, and they owned a shit ton of Sol, and they owned a shit ton of BNB, and they owned a shit ton of Phantom. Insiders owned all this stuff, and all that stuff was like the best performers last bull run. So it's more of a moral thing. Yeah, it means that there can be supply pressure, but 5x. I mean, yeah, so you wouldn't want to hold this for 3 years, but I never said that. I said if it dips, it's a relative strength trade. So it's a trade, and I think for trades, you don't really need to worry so much about things like that. I think the longer your time horizon, the more you have to worry about dilution. All right, I think that's it for now. Remember, the trading comp is going live, so make sure you register. It's a huge trading comp, Tesla, Rolex, or 10,000. So looking forward to that. That'll be pretty fun. So to register, sign up using the link, the second link here. Once you have a link, then you can go onto the trading comp page and log in and register for the trading comp. And yeah, this is I'll have to get going on this soon. So registration's from the 19th until the 31st. So let me look at the terms. There's terms in the description. Competition begins on the 26th of April. So the competition actually starts in 6 days, but you can register at any point within it. But obviously, the earlier you register, the higher well, I don't know, not necessarily higher chance you have of winning, but the more time it gives you to build up profit. If you do it late, you'll probably like be forced to take trades you don't want to take because you're risking it to FOMO in. So yeah, that's how you do it. Link in the description. Remember, if you won the OKX giveaway, email giveaways@cryptobanter.com. If your UID was there with the screenshot, don't Photoshop your screenshot because obviously we're going to check with OKX whether you actually own the account. So yeah. Cool. And what about the current comp? The current comp's not a trading comp. So OKX is a giveaway. So it's not a comp. Technically, it's just a giveaway. So if you trade, you earn tickets and you can win the Tesla. Or actually, the next 2 weeks, you'll win the Maldives, then the Tesla. So yeah, that's no comp. You can trade $1 and you'll get in. Obviously, more you trade, the better. But on Bybit, this is different. This is actual comp. So you're going for ranking. So if you're a better trader, you'll rank higher. And if you rank higher, you'll earn bigger prizes. So that's the difference. One's a giveaway, one's an actual competition. Cool. I'll see you guys tomorrow and probably also on the weekend. Hope you have a lovely day. Peace out.